Blessed love, I am the Honorable Priest Isaac. I am an official priest within the realms of Rastafari of the Ethiopia Africa Black International Congress. I also hold a certification in the craft of archaeoastronomy from Politecnico di Milano in Italy. Our universe and its maker has always been an intriguing subject for humankind. Astronomy is the study of everything in the universe beyond the Earth's atmosphere. Ancient astronomy is similar, but pays special attention to the physical and spiritual values of stars, planets, moons, and other celestial objects. It also brings in the terrestrial component, being things on an earthly plane, such as plants, human organs, and connects them to the heavenly bodies. In this course, you will learn the makeup of various planets and stars, how to locate them in the night sky, along with their associated constellations. You will also be taught about the earliest civilizations known for their astronomical comprehension, namely Kush, also known as ancient Ethiopia, Kemet, called Egypt today, the Dogons, and the Bozos, as well as the civilization of Sumer. You will also learn about black holes, their nature and origin, as well as how the ancients viewed them. Ancient astronomy is the mother of archaeoastronomy and astrotheology. Both subject areas are covered by the Priest Isaac's Institute of Holistic Knowledge. Sign up today. Visit our website, priestisaacinstitute.com, or email us, priestisaacinstitute@gmail.com, for more information. And we do say, blessed love, royal family, we continually glorify the life giver and the keeper of life, Kidemi Haile Selassie the first. I am so happy and joyous to be in your presence once again. Honorable Priest Isaac here, welcoming you to a very special edition of the Tiger's Nest. We have so many things to cover in the Tiger's Nest today, royal family. And of course, it is a audio and a video presentation of the Tiger's Nest. And I will be giving you some important information during this program. So don't go anywhere as it relates to upcoming programs of the Tiger's Nest. Now, let me just remind everyone that the official launch for the Ambassador's Pen will be on the 7th of May, 2025. Mark the date. Make sure you contact me. You know what to do. Email me, priestisaacinstitute@gmail.com, and let me know that you want to be a part of the official launch of the Ambassador's Pen online magazine. Remember, this is free. No need to wonder how much it costs. What's the price of the magazine? How much do we have to pay to register? All of this is free, family. Just contact me. Just email me and let me know that you want to be in the house for the 7th of May. In fact, you can share it with a friend. Let the family members and your loved ones and the people that you work with understand that we need to be present for the official launch of the Ambassador's Pen magazine. A bit more in the program. I'll be giving you some information on that. And of course, I will be bringing to you the mission to Ethiopia for the upcoming Second African Union CARICOM Summit, which will be in September. Family, this is a very serious diplomatic mission that we will be on, and we want you to be a part of it in one form or the other. This is the time for us to get serious. This is the time for us to take the next step. We can't be here just talking forever. You understand? We can't depend on people like Mr. Trump to make up his mind to do what he wants to do. Just the other day, some of us we were up in arms. Oh, Mr. Trump is gonna put tariffs on us, and we need to come together, and we need to grow food, and we need to share with each other. And it was good to hear that. Now, all of a sudden, Mr. Trump appears to have found some heart, and he's changing his mind. He's lessening the tariffs. In some cases, I hear don't worry about that again. And some of us are happy. Oh, God bless Mr. Trump. Oh, he has found his heart. He really has a soul. I am telling you, we were better off when Mr. Trump was coming for our necks. At least we understood who the enemy was. We understood that we needed to come together. We understood that, hey, you need to feed me and I need to feed you. We understood that America the Great with the stars and the bars wasn't really our godparent as we thought. But now that the slave master said, don't worry, Negroes, you can come back in the barn. I'll give you some chitlins and some fried chicken, and we back in again, and we totally forget the moment of consciousness that we had about a month ago when the brother said that he was going to, pardon my language, when the fella said that he was going to raise tariffs on all Chinese ships, and the people in the Caribbean, they're gonna, they're gonna starve for hunger because some of them don't even grow enough food to feed 1/10 of their population, and that's the truth. But anyway, we'll get into some of that this evening. This is the Tiger's Nest family. This is a program that comes to you every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And hear this, we're going to take the Tiger's Nest to another level starting tonight. But I'm going to tell you a bit more about that as we go deeper into the program. It may be a bit lengthy tonight. I know some of you don't mind that. Yeah. The Tiger's Nest is dedicated to the crowd that don't mind spending 2 hours with us. We have a next crowd that oh, your videos are too long. That's why the Tiger's Nest is really a radio program. We actually take the privilege, if you want to say, to come to the international community and do these videos. But again, we're going to be stepping up the level as it relates to the Tiger's Nest. So I want you to stay tuned this evening because we're going to be speaking about that in a few moments. So remember, it's a celebration time. Abraham meet Melchizedek. It's all about celebration today. Yes, this is the 59th anniversary of Haile Selassie I passing through Antigua. Haile Selassie I visiting Jamaica. You understand? 1966, the 21st day of April. And of course, let me be, thankful as well, to the ancestral realms, as today's the born day of my biological mother as well, as I said, in the ancestral realm. So I give thanks for such a womb that would have brought me into this realms. Holy King Selassie, Jah Rastafari, what a joy. Yes, that's when my mother was born, the 21st day of April. And of course, I think everyone knows that the Pope of Rome would have died about 7:35 their time in Rome this morning, the morning of the 21st day of April. And actually, that's actually the meat of the subject tonight. We're going to be talking about that prophecy of the last Pope. Some of you know about it, some of you never heard about it, but we're going to touch upon it. We would have done a program about that maybe 7 years ago, the prophecy of the last Pope, but it's not one of our most favorite subjects, so maybe that's why it never came up again, but it's coming up tonight. So family, we have a few things to touch upon. Please don't go anywhere. But what I'm going to do, for starters, I'm going to begin by bringing to you maybe about 15 to 20 minutes worth of a program I did on the YouTube about 3 years ago. And this program has to do with the 21st day of April. This program has to do with Hadrian's Pantheon. With what? Hadrian's Pantheon. This is in Rome. Now, every year on the 21st day of April, there's a specific astronomical light show that takes place at Hadrian's Pantheon in Rome. And the thing is now, the ancient astronomers of Rome, if you want to say, referred to that day, the 21st day of April, as the birthday of Rome. You knew that. You didn't? The 21st day of April. Interesting. That's the birthday of Elizabeth II, too. The 21st day of April, which is a celebration day for I and I, is considered to be the birthday of Rome. And just like you have the alignments of the equinoxes and the solstices and other key days in key places, whether it's the pyramids of Giza or whether it's Machu Picchu or whether it's in Cambodia, you have these specific alignments on specific key days. Stonehenge, Mount Anu right here in Antigua, Green Castle Hill. I can see it from where I am. You understand what I'm saying? So the point I'm making now is that these mystic alignments, symbolically and literal as they may be, they have their meanings. So interesting now, this Pope Francis, who many people have as this prophetic last or second to last Pope. Some people have the prophecy mix up, so I'm not sure if it's the last Pope or the second to last Pope. I guess we will find out in a few days. Now, I'm just bringing that prophecy to you for your knowledge. You know, my prophecy is Haile Selassie is the Most High. That's what I put my neck on the block for, not for who's the last Pope. You know, this is a program where we bring information and inspiration. You understand? We keep you in the know. We let you know what people are talking about. You understand? We put things on the table and leave you to think for yourself. You follow me? Very good. So it's just interesting, you know, for years upon years upon years, Rome has considered the 21st day of April, the same day that Pope Francis died, to be the birthday of Rome. You know, ones were already seeing him as a very interesting Pope. They say he doesn't like to refer to himself as Pope. He's the Bishop of Rome. You know, according to the prophecy of Malachi, he's said to be Peter the Great, who likes to feed people. Peter the Great, who likes to feed people. Don't worry, if you don't understand, we're getting there soon. You understand? And this is why it is said that he even made a statement that the worst sin is not feeding people. Follow me good. So the mystic around this first pope from Latin America, and they said that even mystically, you know, although he's very versed in languages, Latin and Roman and all of that, I think the popes usually sign in Latin, but he signed off when he was inaugurated pope in the Roman language. So there are many mystics about him that people look at and people observe, and he's called the people's pope, although again, he prefers to refer to himself as the Bishop of Rome. So anyway, we're going to get into that in a few moments. As I said, what I want to do is to revisit a video I would have done several years ago. And I am highlighting the Pantheon, Hadrian's Pantheon in Rome, and how the sun aligns with the dome of Hadrian's Pantheon during the time of the 21st day of April. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to start the conversation from the beginning, and I don't think I'm going to take you all the way to the very end. So you will have to sit in. I myself, I'm going to light up a chalice right here. You may have to do the same and absorb the knowledge and the information that is coming to you. Now, I will be doing a bit of reading in this video. I know that for sure. So I could at least give the audience an understanding of what it is I would be getting into in this discussion. But again, I'm only going to be giving you maybe about 15. I don't think I'm going to go beyond 20 minutes of this video. So again, I won't begin it from the beginning. I will start it somewhere around here. You will be able to pick up, and then we will continue our reasoning. Family, I hope you have the time to spend some time with us this evening. I'm asking you to share the link. Share the link. Let your friends know. You have friends on WhatsApp, don't you? You have friends on the Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And you have a whole email list. Let the friends know. Let the family know. Let the loved ones know that you are in tune to the tiger's nest. And while you're at it, there are those buttons with the thumbs up business. Just press it. Press the thumbs up button. You understand? And as I said, family, to make sure that you're always here with me, you got to make sure your notification bell is on. That's a must. Remember, these people have made, if you want to say, shifty ways to hide specific videos from you. So you got to be wiser than them. You understand? So make sure you keep your notification bell on. As I said, reset it if you have to reset it. In fact, some of you, you're not even subscribed to the channel. Well, that's an easy thing to do. Just press the subscribe button. It's as easy as pressing the thumbs up button. So press the subscribe button, subscribe to the channel, and then make sure you put on your notification bell. Because family, you will see as we go into this program tonight, this is much more than show and tell. We're not here trying to run no competition with nobody. This is about freedom, redemption, international repatriation. Yeah, your chalice is ready? Let me get my chalice here. This is like chalice talk. And as I said, just tiger with me as we go through this information here. This is from about 3 years ago, and I will be, well, not right back. I'm not going anywhere.
A huge hemispherical dome built over a cylinder, simple, which, hear this, which has the same diameter.
That's a good way to start. Clear as crystal.
A dome built over, you see they have a dome on it, just like that. So a huge hemispherical dome built over a cylinder, simple, which, hear this, which has the same diameter and is the height of as the same height and is as high as the radius. So that is very important, because from you start to talk about the radius now, and of course, that's like if you were to draw a straight line from the center of the circumference of a circle or a sphere, that is where you're going to get the radius. So, and this is showing you now, so you just have to imagine that the circle on which the dome is rest down, the geometry is so perfect that if you were to look at it from a side view and draw another circle, which will take in the dome, the circle will come and touch the floor and make a perfect circle from your architectural drawing. So the individual that did the architecture, those of you that are builders or architects, I know you could understand this. Here you have a dome roof on top of a building that is cylindrical in shape. But from a side view, if you were to draw a circle using the circle of the dome and continue, or the half circle of the dome, and continue to draw this imaginary circle, it will touch the floor perfectly. So again, let me read it for you. The building consists of a rectangular portico fronting a circular building, a huge hemispherical dome built over a cylinder, which has, hear this, which has the same diameter. This is the science, geometry, and is as high as the radius. Therefore, the ideal completion of the upper hemisphere by a hypothetical lower one. That's what I'm just saying. The hypothetical lower one, meaning that the lower hemisphere is not there. Follow me good. The upper hemisphere is the dome. That's the upper hemisphere. Look at the globe. You cut the globe in half. You have the upper hemisphere, which is the northern hemisphere, which looks like a dome. So this is saying now, if you were to add a next dome underneath, it would make a perfect ball inside of the building, wherein the top of the bottom of the ball now would perfectly touch the floor. And remember, that is why now he uses the term hypothetical, because it's not really there. But the builders and the architects designed it in such a way as if it was there, it would perfectly touch the floor. Now, all of this is a part of the geometry, so that it can align with the winter solstice, with the summer solstice, and with the equinoxes. This is what I'm going to show you. Follow now. Okay, good. I know we took a little time there, but trust me, it's worth the absorption. Every program is not just let me lay back and listen to what a man's saying. Sometimes you gotta sit up and cock your head to the side and listen, put your ears, although you can hear, but there's something about putting your ears close to the speaker and saying, okay, let me listen good. This opening is the only source of direct light. Which opening? Oh, pardon me. The circular opening in the top of the dome, as we explained before. This opening is the only source of direct light. Since no direct sunlight can enter from the door throughout the year, owing to the northward orientation of the entrance, which points some 5 degrees west of north. As I said, you would enter this building from the north, but it's just 5 degrees west of north. That's how it's designed. Okay, and it's literally towards Augustus' mausoleum. A curious consequence of this orientation is that the huge facade of the building is always in the dark. One thing is certain, on each sunny day, the attention of the visitors is attracted by the shaft of sunlight entering from the top. So obviously, family, the building is usually dark because there's no electricity, no electrical lights in there, no windows, nothing like that. So it has been perfectly left like that. Well, actually, I don't know if they have lights in there, they purposely keep it off. But it was designed, when they designed it, specifically this way, to be left in the dark at specific times. And the sun, when it comes through on the sunny day, you would see the light of the sun traveling along the wall, day by day, shifting its position. But of course, as you have morning and then it comes evening, you will watch the light walking along the wall through this hole in the roof. But obviously, as the days go by, the position of the light will change. It was designed that way. Follow me good. Right. Again, a curious consequence of this orientation is that the huge facade of the building is always in the dark. Quite optical feature. One thing is certain, on each sunny day, the attention of the visitors is attracted by the shaft of sunlight entering from the top, the shaft. So it looks like a shaft of light. If in there was dusty, it would look like a shaft of light just coming through. So let us study the behavior of the sunlight inside of the Pantheon. Day by day. You with me, family? Good. The general idea was probably, guessing here, the person that's speaking. The general idea was probably inspired by a particular type of Roman sundial, which captured the beam of the sunlight within a shadowy interior. In fact, since the door opens to the north, the shaft of sunlight at noon is always located on an approximate meridian line which passes over the entrance. So a meridian line now, in astronomy, in ancient astronomy, a meridian line is a line that really comes from true north to the observer's position, if you understand what I'm saying. A meridian line is connected to the true north and aligns with the observer's position. So if you're looking for the azimuth then of a star, you would have to find true north first. And the azimuth of the star is basically the angle of the star when you go take a clockwise bearing from true north. Those of you who do landscaping knows exactly what I'm talking about. So true north now, straight to the observer, because you're actually you appear to be in the center of everything. So the true north, the line comes straight to you. That's basically the meridian line in that sense. And so when you understand that now, let's follow what this is saying. The general idea was probably inspired by a particular type of Roman sundial, which captured the beam of sunlight within the shadowy interior. In fact, since the door opens to the north, the shaft of sunlight at noon is always located on an approximate meridian line which passes over the entrance. Good. At the autumn equinox, the sun spot, the sunlight touches the interior spring of the autumn hemisphere, the sunspot. The spot of sunlight, touches the interior spring of the upper hemisphere. All right, let me read that properly. At the autumn equinox, the spot of sunlight touches the interior spring of the upper hemisphere. Then the spot moves up to its maximum height in the roof over the entrance, reached at winter solstice. Thereafter, it starts moving down, again brushing the base of the dome at the spring equinox. In the subsequent days, the sun culminates progressively higher, and so the beam moves further down, illuminating the grill over the entrance. And finally, the arched doorway, the entire opening, which is fully lit around the 21st day of April. Now remember, this happens every year. So you actually see the progression taking place here. You can see, again, it highlights the equinox. At the autumn equinox, the spot of sunlight. So just imagine, and again, we will be sometime in the future creating this in a more visual form so you can follow it. But I'm sure the time that we are taking to express and identify this properly, you will be able to get it. And this is a simple thing to do, you know. Even while I'm speaking to you, and you are to Google's Hadrian, like Adrian with an H, Hadrian's Pantheon.
No need to.
21st day of April. Do that now. Hadrian's Pantheon, 21st day of April, if you are listening to radio, I know, and yeah,
but what the commentary was saying is that you don't need to do that, because what you are listening to was actually a radio program by itself. There was no visual, you know. You hear me speaking there. I was speaking to an audience that, for the most part, didn't know what I was talking about and had no pictures to refer to. What you are looking at now is me replaying the audio. That's why you hear me in the background coming in, replaying the audio and showing the pictures. So in the audio, I was telling my audience that they should go and Google Hadrian's, pantheon. But then I was telling them, no need to do that because you're seeing it all here live and direct.
At the same time, the way that we will be expressing it to you would give you a good idea of exactly how it goes. So let's go through that again. 21st day of April, if you are listening to radio, I know, and yeah, 21st day of April. Do that now. Hadrian's Pantheon. Adrian, like Adrian with an H. Hadrian's Pantheon. No need to. 21st day of April. Do that now. Hadrian's Pantheon. 21st day of April, if you are listening to radio, I know, and yeah, but at the same time, the way that we will be expressing it to you would give you a good idea of exactly how it goes. So let's go through that again, students. Very much important here. So it is showing you, when we're observing the movements from at the autumn equinox, the spot of sunlight touches the interior spring of the upper hemisphere. Then the spot moves up to its maximum height in the roof over the entrance, reached at winter solstice. Now that's it.
And let me come in here. I don't think I have to because he is doing such a good job. But again, family, what is taking place here is astronomy. And this is why you see us highlighting the movements of the sun. And I'm telling you, it's just reality. Whatever an individual thinks, because people will be telling you the world is flat and the world is square, inner earth and outer earth. I can understand. But from where I am, where I reside, I can stay from here and I can see the island of Nevis. You understand? And every day I can see the sun going from my perspective just a little bit to the right, which is to the north every day. So for example, 2 months ago, it was to the left from my perspective of Nevis. On the 21st to the 23rd day of March, you actually see the sun from my angle setting on the top of Nevis like an alignment. And right now, it is to the right or to the north of Nevis, somewhere going towards St. Kitts. I'm talking about the daily setting of the sun. I watch the sun set every day specifically for the Lent. So maybe you may argue the interpretation of what we see, but that doesn't change what we see. That's why when I have certain conversations and people jump up and say, oh, brother, the world is flat and the world is not spinning, no offense, but it shows some serious ignorance. Because the level of the conversation doesn't really have to do with that part of the mechanic. You see, it just has to do with what we are observing. Now, the mechanics is important, but you can take it out and we can just deal with what we see. And what we are seeing here is the apparent movement of the sun on a daily level, to the point that every day when the light comes through the dome ceiling of Hadrian's Pantheon, you can see that daily the sun is going down, down, down. It may be a few inches, but it's going down, down, down until it reaches to a specific point, and then it starts to come up every day. It moves just a bit more. Now you can see from the diagram here where it would hit on the winter solstice, where it would hit on the equinoxes. And it is showing you specifically a day that is not necessarily aligned with solstice or equinoxes, the day when the sun enters the ram. You have the light literally opening the doorway. And that is considered the day that Rome was born, the birthday of Rome. That is what is referred to as the 21st day of April. That's today, eh? And someone may have been saying in the background, I thought he was going to speak about the death of the Pope. I thought so too. Let's continue.
Its maximum height, and that is reached at winter solstice. Thereafter, it starts moving down, again brushing the base of the dome at the spring equinox. In the subsequent days, the sun culminates progressively higher, and so the beam moves further down, illuminating the grill over the entrance, and finally the arched doorway and the entire opening, pardon me, which is fully lit around the 21st day of April. Let me just read this quickly. After that, the beam starts moving across the floor towards the center of the building, which is, however, never reached since, of course, the sun does not cross the zenith at the latitude of Rome. See, all of this is important. And let me do say here, this is why the archaeoastronomy course that we will be doing is very important. But even right now, the ancient astronomy course that we would be launching on the 30th is also very important, because you see, when it comes to understanding the heavens, when it comes to understanding the movements, when it comes to comprehending exactly what is taking place above us, ancient astronomy for sure would really keep us in a better understanding when it comes to really getting it in order. Because, as I said, you are observing. So he's talking about the whole aspect of the heavens. As I said now, the fact that the door is pointing to the north. Again, the meridian coming from true north, basically. Well, of course, the meridian is just like the equator, You have an equator on the earth, and you have a celestial equator.
And
so that's another thing.
You may not be happy with me, but let me come in there. I don't think we need to hear more of that. I think he has made his point there, and I can hear some people say, "Aw." Well, listen, family, this is on my YouTube channel, Astronomy, Haile Selassie, and Rome's Architecture. Radio Anu, that's the name of the video. You could go and watch it. It's very easy to find, very easy to encounter. But the main point was made, and yes, we are highlighting the death of the Pope, Pope Francis. That has been the conversation. I woke up this morning. I had a rest last night. I woke up previous evening, and I woke up this morning and to that news that the Pope would have passed on. I would have observed the pontiff in his expression on Easter Sunday. I myself found it interesting that he was going through his struggles during the time of the time of the Lent, and came out on Easter Sunday. And one of the interesting things is that he met the Vice President of the United States of America, who they said just newly became a Catholic. Brother, you got to check everything out. Eh? Every little thing, every little movement, there's so many secrets that these fellas have up their sleeves, literally sometimes. But anyway, so as I was saying, even previous evening when we were speaking of the son going into the sacrificial lamb, we were talking of the visitation of Emperor Haile Selassie I to Jamaica, and we were highlighting all the links numerically and otherwise, and from 1961 when the good brothers visited the king, and the link back to 65 and 66 and Coral Gardens in 63 and the OAU in the same 63 and the members of the OAU, the 32 and the 33 and the 31 members of Rastafari plus the king, which is the 32 again. And we did a lot of connections previous evening, last night, as they call it, once you were there. If not, you can revisit the video. It's actually the previous video, if I'm not mistaken, to what you'll be watching now on the channel, Priest Isaac YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. So highlighting even all of that mystic, and then the day after, we are now explaining another mystic here, because I was listening to someone commenting on the death of the Pope. Not really mainstream, one of those who they would call maybe a conspiracy theorist. And he was saying that all of this was planned. Yeah, man, the fellow was saying that even the time that the Pope died is the time when you have to sing a certain hymn, a hymn of prayers that carries you to the Father and some kind of thing. I don't know. I mean, I was just listening to his commentary. So he said it was well orchestrated for the fella to move out with the prayers going up. And interesting. But what I know again, as Mr. Pope Francis, and I'm not going to spend too much time on that right now, We're going to get to the last Pope prophecy. But what I know, since Mr. Pope Francis is shrouded so much, really, in the last Pope prophecy, and some have him as the second to last Pope. So some say he's the last Pope, Like this is the end of the world. There's no more popes around. And then some will tell you, no, man, the real Pope coming in now, which is the popes of popes. The fact that this alignment, see, all of this is deep science. This is created with a dome that is the northern hemisphere. The southern hemisphere dome doesn't exist. But if you were to put the southern hemisphere dome within the structure, it would touch the floor perfectly. So this is the world. This is symbolic of what's happening here. So the alignment, the 21st day of April, we already highlighted. We already know that, Rastafari. This is not a joke day. Man, we tell you this all the time. These fellas know how to use the holy days and put their demonic stuff over it from a long time. These sacred moments, and they do it in such a way. You may be saying, but listen, man, Hadrian built that long before Selassie I came to Jamaica on the 21st day of April. No, hold on. Yes, but Hadrian understood, obviously, the movements of the heavens. Haile Selassie I visiting Jamaica 21st of April 1966. We just explained that previous night. We just explained what was taking place in the heavens. It was just manifested into flesh. Listen, man, this is the war. of high science. How many of you have seen the video we did when Haile Selassie first visited Pope Pope Paul the Sixth was? Yeah, Pope Paul the Sixth. The cosmic battle when the king pulled his sword and Pope Paul the Sixth. Now, if you didn't see it, you may say, oh, come on, priest. Don't give me that little foolishness there. This is a good time to check that video out. So, family, don't overlook none of this. You say you believe in Freemasonry. When I say believe, not that you believe in it as if, but you acknowledge that it has its ways and it's around. You check it. This is what it's all about. You say you believe in the Illuminati. You say you believe in the secret science. Well, them is the secret science people. They know when to come in. They know when to go out. They say Pope John Paul was born on an eclipse. I think when they were burying him, it was an eclipse too. Told you already, Ronald Wilson Reagan, with the 6 letters a piece in each name. 6th of February birth. Ronald Reagan, keep in mind, on that day, the 6th of February, I'm telling you, that is the day specifically, the 6th of February, when Pope Pius the 11th became Pope Pius the 11th. That was on Ronald Reagan's 11th birthday. That's the truth. So Ronald Wilson Reagan, the day he became 11, was the very day that Pope Pius the 11th, which is Ambrose Ratti, became Pope Pius the 11th. Now it may all sound like that's just, and that's the 6th of February. It may all sound like, man, that's just by chance and everything. Well. When that happened, 1922. So Ronald Reagan was born 1911. Yeah, all right. Just by chance. You have to understand that how many letters in the name again? Ronald Wilson Reagan, 666. You told me he rode a red horse, eh? Well, the scriptures say he that rides the red horse shall take peace from the earth. I think death is his name. Whether it's the red horse or the pale horse, they're all one and the same. Yeah. Keep in mind, John Paul the 11th, the second, well, it does look like an 11, it's 2 ones. When he visited Ronald Reagan at his inauguration, that's the first time a pope ever visited a president at his inauguration. You understand? There's a lot of links there just to look at. Remember when Ronald Reagan was shot? Pope Paul was shot not too long after. Both of them shot basically around the same time. Now you have to understand who Ronald Reagan is, man. The Gipper? Yeah. Revelation 13 clearly shows you that the beast was, one of the head of the beast was wounded and it did not die. And the world marveled at the beast because the dragon gave its power to the beast. Now, that's like, I know a lot was said there, and that will take like an hour to explain properly. You understand? But again, this is why we do series and programs that are already etched in stone. And I invite ones to, visit website. I invite ones to visit our YouTube page itself and take time to go through a lot of the information that we would have already put down. So, yeah, we've just begun, family. We have a lot to cover still for this program here. So just continue to stay comfortable. Again, there's the prophecy of the last pope now. That is where I want to go. But before we go into that last pope prophecy, I really want to take some time to present to you the mission to Ethiopia, a very important project, a very important mission that we will be definitely undertaking. We give thanks for your presence with us. Please do not go anywhere. Life giver and the keeper of life. In fact, again, for those who are coming in, please thumbs up the video. I do ask. If you're not a subscriber, just press the subscribe button and just remember you must put on your notification bell as well. Now, we have just begun, the program just started. So no need to go nowhere. We have a lot more to cover. This subject, this part of the program is not, well, we done this, now we're going to talk about something else. Well, we're going to speak about many other things. But what we just cover, because this is class we're in, what we just cover will be very, very, important to what we're going into now. Because remember, right now, this is what's happening in Rome. That alignment, what we just explained, happened today, that's the point. It happened today. When the Pope died, that is happening. Yeah, family, give thanks. Don't go anywhere. Tiger's Nest Special Edition continues. Blessed love, I am the Honorable Priest Isaac. I am an official priest within the realms of Rastafari of the Ethiopia Africa Black International Congress. I also hold a certification in the craft of archaeoastronomy from Politecnico di Milano in Italy. Our universe and its makeup has always been an intriguing subject for humankind. Astronomy is the study of everything in the universe beyond the Earth's atmosphere. Ancient astronomy is similar, but pays special attention to the physical and spiritual values of stars, planets, moons, and other celestial objects. It also brings in the terrestrial component, being things on an earthly plane, such as plants, human organs, and connects them to the heavenly bodies. In this course, you will learn the makeup of various planets and stars, how to locate them in the night sky, along with their associated constellations. You will also be taught about the earliest civilizations known for their astronomical comprehension, namely Kush, also known as ancient Ethiopia, Kemet, called Egypt today, the Dogons, and the Bozos, as well as the civilization of Sumer. You will also learn about black holes, their nature and origin, as well as how the ancients viewed them. Ancient astronomy is the mother of archaeoastronomy and astrotheology. Both subject areas are covered by the Priest Isaac's Institute of Holistic Knowledge. Sign up today. Visit our website, priestisaacinstitute.com, or email us, priestisaacinstitute@gmail.com, for more information. Yes, royal family, give thanks. Thanks for your holy presence with us. Once again, you are right here with us, fully in the tiger's nest, just giving thanks and full hearted celebration to each and every one, continuing with such subject area. The head that once was a crown with thorns is crowned with glory now, all courtesy of Honorable Priest Joshua as well, and give thanks for such a sample. Royal family, again in full celebration mode. Those who may be just coming in, we give thanks for those who are coming in and give thanks for those who are definitely humbling with us as we carry this to another level. Now, royal family, what we are going to touch upon as we are still dealing with the, the death of the Pope and the last Pope prophecy. And for those, again, who may be just coming in, what we would have touched upon, it's good if you even go to the beginning of this and get it from the start. But what we would have touched upon is the whole hierophany. That's what it's called, really. In astronomical terms, it's a hierophany, where the star meets the stone, the hierophany, where the mystics occur, is a hierophany. So we were speaking of the hierophany of the pantheon, Hadrian's pantheon, of course, in Rome, and how it is related to the sun on the 21st day of April, and why this day is considered the birthday of Rome. You follow what I'm saying? All right. Okay, good. So after highlighting that, we also showed you in a balance that it's also the death day of Pope Francis. That's today. Today, the same day with the alignment, is the same day that the Pope died. Now, as I said, I've heard other ones already springing out, the mystics. He was already said to be the last Pope, even before he became the Pope, Even before he became the Pope, ones were already prophesying that whoever it is would be the last Pope. So it was him. But there again, there's a next twist to the prophecy. I don't know if you know it. You could say, you could put in the comments, whatever, explain what you know about the prophecy. But there's a next leg of the prophecy where they say that he is the last real pope, some kind of thing like that. And then the Antichrist Pope now. Not no Pope like the rest Pope, but a Pope unto his own, like how the book of Revelation coins this king. It's coined as a king, unlike the first king and all of that stuff. So they're saying that the next Pope, the real dark Pope now, he is the one that is going to be the popes of popes. And not just a Pope, but like Satan himself in flesh. And again, this is just some of uh, the reasoning and commentary that I'm bringing to you. This is not something I personally say, well, yeah, this is what exactly I believe. I mean, I know who the wicked world is, that's for sure. But for me to break it down to you, this is the last Pope. And I don't care who they're going to try to bring up to the seat in the next 9 days or whatever days it is. It's not going to happen because the prophecy said so. No, that's not what I'm here to do. We're here to have a conversation. So we're going to get to that in a few moments. Now, Royal Family, what I would like to share with you, of course, as you know, we have upcoming the official launch of the brand new uh, magazine. I refer to it as a mini magazine. This is the Ambassador's Pen. And this is going to be the official launch, the 7th of May, 2025. It's going to be a seminar, 7 p.m. sharp. I'm inviting everyone to, contact us and make sure you get your link for your space. Make sure you get your link for your seat to make sure that you are with us and be a part of that official launch of the ambassador's pen. And that will be again the 7th of May. And those who have never had the chance to go through the ambassador's pen, you would need to do that. In fact, what I would like to do, before I even get into the information that I would like to share with you, is to share some information I have in the ambassador's pen. Now, I would have highlighted this to my audience already, but I think this is a good time to highlight it again. We are going to just take a quick look at the renovation work that has been done on the Jubilee Palace of His Imperial Majesty. Of course, the Jubilee Palace was built in 1955, and it has been recently renovated by the Ethiopian government. And this is marvelous and spectacular work that has been done. So just for those who may not know, you will know now. And I may or may not present the full video for you because we would have done that already, but the video is embedded. Listen to me, the video is embedded in the magazine, the Ambassador's Pen. So just watch the flow now. So this is actually the first edition as such. This is the Forerunner edition, we call it, the Forerunner. So it did not come out in the cycle of Ambassador's Pen that will begin on the 7th of May. But it was done somewhat as an example of what the Ambassador's Pen will be all about. So it is the Forerunner edition, and it's entitled Peace in the Horn of Africa. And you can just go below the video. In the description of this video, you have the link. And you can just press the link and the magazine will come up. And of course, save the link, etc. Or you could visit the website, priestisaacsinstitute.com. You see it right there, and you could visit these magazines. All right, fair enough. Let us go straight to, here it is.
Discover Ethiopia's hidden royal legacy. For centuries, Ethiopia's majestic royal residences remained shrouded in mystery, closed off to the public despite their prominence in urban landscapes. Now, thanks to the restoration initiative led by Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, starting with the Grand Palace, now known as Unity Park, these historic sites have opened their gates, offering a rare glimpse into Ethiopia's regal past. Welcome to the National Palace. Originally built to commemorate Emperor Haile Selassie's Silver Jubilee, the National Palace stands as an iconic landmark and a testament to Ethiopia's rich heritage. Once a space reserved for royalty, national leaders and dignitaries, it has now been transformed into a shared treasure for all to experience. This historic compound, which houses time-honored buildings and national treasures, had long been neglected, becoming overgrown with vegetation. Close to the public, the palace and its grounds fell into disrepair, characterized by dim lighting, dusty rooms, and ivy-covered walls. However, now fully restored, it stands in grace, welcoming everyone to visit and enjoy its beauty. Given the palace's collections and historical artifacts of significant value to the nation, its preservation and restoration have been undertaken with great care. The meticulous restoration process has been guided by specialists, ensuring that the palace retains its historical and cultural significance. Considerable energy and effort have been invested to maintain its current appearance. Spanning over 27 hectares in the vibrant heart of Addis Ababa, the National Palace serves as a sanctuary of Ethiopia's rich history, beautifully intertwined with expansive natural landscapes. The grounds feature historic tree species, lush greenery, tranquil fountains, and architectural wonders. From its serene pathways to the meticulously restored Royal Dining Hall, where many world leaders were once hosted, the palace tells a story of global significance. A journey through time. Stepping into the newly constructed vehicle gallery is like embarking on a journey to the past. Here, restored automobiles, carriages, and train wagons, once used by Ethiopian royalty, are showcased in the specially built gallery for the public to explore. The luxurious and eclectic car collection were both symbols of prestige and practical means of state transportation. The fleet, which included luxurious vehicles such as Rolls-Royce Phantom 4s, Mercedes-Benz 600 Pullman limousines, Packard Super 8s, Cadillac Fleetwood limousines, and Lincoln Continentals, often used for state ceremonies and official engagements.
And so you could see, I just felt to stop it there, you see the type of vehicles that the emperor would have owned. And let's just be realistic. I mean, it's for the emperor and the family, obviously. And it's a big family. It is. So even though myself, sometimes I get in my own vibes and my own little energy, and I would say, you see how the king moved. The king have almost 70 vehicles. Yeah, that's how I speak it. You hear me speak it, with a little, boast within it. Yeah, man, the king no have no Toyota, yeah, no, man. Toyota, no Honda, cha. Man, I deal with no Mitsubishi and we don't want no Nissan. What you talking about? Cadillac, What's the other car there? Rolls Royce, Buick, give me some Bentley. Yeah, man. Trust me, I don't even think the king has any Audis there. Maybe an Audi, or I'm not sure. But the highest of Plymouth, them levels there, His Imperial Majesty is dealing with. But family, listen, man, you can see the whole video if you desire. It's inside of the magazine. The link is in the description below, and you can look at the whole video at your leisure by just going through the magazine. All of our magazines are like that. Take the time. Share our magazines with your children. Put it on their tablets. Tell them to go through these magazines, and remember, they are entertaining as well. So when you flip the page, the video just jumps out at you. You can hardly get away. You want to watch it off, And of course, our entertainment is good entertainment. So you can look at the rest of the video at your own time. What you say? You want me to give you a bit more? All right, let's give it. I'm asking the family to press the thumbs up button here. Yeah, I know I asked that already, but some people just coming in. Like the video and share the video. That's another thing. Sharing the video is a very important thing. Sharing it, family. Not just, sharing, but share it. You press the share button, and then all of the options will come up, and you can send it to all your WhatsApp friends. Tell them, check this program out. You can send it to all your friends on Facebook, or just put it on your Instagram reel or your TikTok, the link or the video, whatever it is, however you do it. You know how to improvise. You know how to set it up. Your email list. Many of us have a whole email catalog. You could share it there as well.
Also features practical vehicles like Land Rovers for navigating Ethiopia's rugged terrain, along with Fiats and Peugeots. These vehicles were abandoned in a shanty warehouse until Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed initiated their restoration and spearheaded the construction of Ethiopia's first modern vehicle gallery within the National Palace. Visitors can explore carriages that once welcomed and bid farewell to national leaders and guests, as well as those that were used for touring the city. The vehicle gallery also features 2 train wagons, both equipped with sleeping quarters, a dining area, a bathroom, and an office. These lavish trains were used by the emperor for both work and leisure during trips to Harar.
These lavish trains. These are the king's trains. Lavish trains, no jokey business here. Used for the trips to Harar and so forth.
As well as those that were used for touring the city. The vehicle gallery also features 2 train wagons, both equipped with sleeping quarters, a dining area, a bathroom, and an office. These lavish trains were used by the emperor for both work and leisure during trips to Harar. Upon exiting the vehicle gallery, visitors stroll through the pristine grounds and are greeted by the ornate golden entrance of the palace halls and chambers. Inside, they are welcomed by soaring ceilings and softly illuminated walls. Wide steps lead to spacious reception rooms, the banquet hall, and what was once the emperor's residential quarters. Every detail has been meticulously restored, preserving the palace's historical essence. These spaces have witnessed key moments in Ethiopia's history, from state banquets to pivotal diplomatic meetings. As visitors descend into the basement, they encounter the newly constructed Palace Museum, featuring the palace's rich history, exhibits of royal regalia, artifacts, significant gifts, including ivory tusks and gold ornaments. The Palace Museum houses regal treasures, crowns, thrones.
Right. Well, I'm going to seal it right there. And I think, we can all work on, on this together. And I think you for sure, you could definitely, as I would say, press the link in the description below. And what that will do, that would literally take you straight to the book itself. And that is the Ambassador's Pen, highlighting, of course, the edition known as the Forerunner edition. So the Forerunner edition is just one of the 2 editions that came out before the official launch, which will be again on the 7th day of May. Now, keep in mind that we are talking about the edition that also highlights the coming forth of what is known as the 38th anniversary, not anniversary, the 38th African Union Summit. We also highlighted that in the Ambassador's Pen, the special edition. All right, let me not confuse you there. Let me just highlight this to you before I go into the main information. Now, I would have recently concluded a course with the University of London. This course is actually in global diplomacy, and it was officially given to me on the 8th of April, that is 2025. I did it through the medium known as Coursera, and again, it was not only successfully completed, I completed with 100%. That was my score, brothers and sisters, 100%. And again, this is in global diplomacy, diplomacy in the modern world. And again, that is actually highlighted there with the University of London. So I give thanks. And even the conversation that we are getting into now still has to do with diplomacy, because even a day like today, the 21st day of April, still has to do with diplomacy. And make sure you continue to celebrate tomorrow, because that is when the king gave out the medals to the diplomats. So we're dealing with high diplomacy here. That's why we as Bobo Shanti, we always highlight that the Honorable King Emmanuel Charles Edwards would have been given specific diplomatic rights. But of course, they were hidden and pretended as if we don't know what we are talking about by the government. But I saw it go. Why? We come to break those barriers now. So yes, that it is, and yes, that's I and I. That's what you would see on the birth paper. And for sure, we give thanks for such opportunity. Now, let me go straight into this. Needs not too much explanation, but just to read and you can follow along. It's entitled, The Priest Isaac's Institute of Holistic Knowledge presents Mission to Ethiopia, African Union CARICOM Summit Magazine launch. This is a fundraiser campaign. Magazine launch, African Union CARICOM Summit, fact-finding research mission, tourism exchange initiative, education collaboration. And you would see, I want you to observe this good, these are the banners of the stakeholders for that event that is highlighted, which is the African Union and the CARICOM Summit, which is the second, the banner of CARICOM, the banner of the African Union, and the Ethiopian current flag. What I have here is the flag of the individual that you see in the statue. That's the flag of Menelik II. The flag of Menelik II is a red-up flag. You better believe that. That's the history, eh? Our good brother, the Honorable Priest Merit, would have clarified that for the whole world. Menelik II, after he defeated, we need to keep this in mind. We can't just forget this. We can't just throw this away, whether you want to keep that flag or whatever flag, and bring back the money with the lion. I get what you're saying, but let's not, go against Menelik's wishes. There are people in Ethiopia that says that Lee Joatsu was the person that Menelik chose. Those were his wishes. All right, fair enough. When he defeated the Italian, Menelik II said, we shall turn the red of the flag up. That's Ethiopian history. I'm just showing it to you. So we highlight that as this is a diplomatic presentation that is being made here. So we have all the information. This is directly, again, from the Priest Isaac's Institute of Holistic Knowledge. And let me just read this information here for you. And let me just be clear again, this is not officially a document from the Ethiopia Africa Black International Congress. As I am a member of such, I still full take, and deliver the principles of the Congress. This is coming directly from our establishment, which is the Priest Isaac's Institute of Holistic Knowledge. I want to be clear with that. Mission to Ethiopia overview. The Priest Isaac's Institute of Holistic Knowledge will be visiting Ethiopia officially as early as August 2025 to October the same 2025. We will be launching both the Ambassador's Pen and Kidemi, two digital publications of our online magazine collection. The previous issues of the Ambassador's Pen highlights the culture, history, and geopolitical public affairs happening in the Horn of Africa. The magazine Kidemi, also called the cultural icon, takes a conscious look at reality. The December 21st edition cover story highlights the heritage of Green Castle Hill and the historical research documented on this national park here in Antigua, West Indies, the Caribbean. On our visit to Ethiopia, we will be visiting several business professionals, owners of hotels and resorts, as well as government officials. We will be pitching our business proposals to create long-standing professional contacts and international relationships between Africa and the diaspora. And I think that paragraph might be the most important paragraph in the whole thing. Maybe I should have put a whole, bracket around that paragraph there. And I'm going to repeat it. I want the family to understand what we are about, why we are doing this here. Again, on our visit to Ethiopia, we will be visiting several business professionals, owners of hotels and resorts, as well as government officials. We will be pitching our business proposals to create long-standing professional contacts and international relationships between Africa and the diaspora. I hope the family gets, where we're coming from there. So I'm not afraid to say I am going on business. This is just one leg of an international mission that we will be on. We also have Washington, D.C. We also have Ghana. We also have the UK as part of the mission that we will be attacking as such. That's tiger talk. No one be afraid. Business-wise, it's business talk too. So we're presenting the Ambassador's Pen. We're presenting Kidemi. This is why you always hear us say, when you advertise with the Ambassador's Pen, when you advertise with Kidemi, you're not just putting your pretty ad in a magazine to sit down in a dentist's office or, somewhere in, no. But you are literally, you're buying a ticket really on an international trade. And I am the captain and I will take you around the world. So this is an example of that. This is marketing. This is business. This is why we always come to the community. Family, I'm not afraid to tell you, man. Listen, we ostracize each other because he too serious. And let's just, and I just need to come together, man, and just do what y'all said. Yeah. We don't like structure. We don't like agenda. We don't like mathematics. We don't like, let us see, what will happen in the next 10 days. Let us target some goals for the next 50 days. What will be the outcome in the next 3 years? No, I just need for, just, live up and love one another. And yeah. So again, it's business, because if you're looking for redemption is money. Eh? That's how you redeem things. You buy it back. It's money. You understand? Yeah, I know he paid the price to redeem us. I understand. But it says we are saviors too, so we got things to redeem ourselves. And children to redeem and children to save, etc., etc. So again, there's a heavy business component here. That's just one aspect. It's really fully business. Busyness, that's what business is. To be busy is really still busyness. So again, the ambassador's pen, also the magazine Kidemi, are a serious aspect of the business, wherein again, that is what we will be doing. We will be pitching our services to these business professionals, owners of hotels and resorts, as well as government officials. You understand? Very good. Let me continue. The Priest Isaac's Institute of Holistic Knowledge will be present at the second African Union / CARICOM Summit on the 7th of September, 2025 at the Adawa Memorial Museum located in the capital of Addis Ababa. As a legally registered entity in the Twin Island nation of Antigua and Barbuda, the Priest Isaac's Institute of Holistic Knowledge will be representing many businesses in Antigua and beyond. For example, businesses that advertise with our publications will be highlighted in our speeches and interviews, although not a part of the diplomatic mission as a government representative of the nation of Antigua and Barbuda to the summit. The Honorable Priest Isaac would have submitted to our government our desire for official representation. We are very hopeful of a positive response. So I'm just showing you now the seriousness of what this agenda is all about. You understand? So we are an independent business, it's not me just going. It is the independent business, a business that is going already doing business, especially as it relates to marketing, especially as it relates to promotion, advertising, and sales. And we actually have a whole agenda around that itself, the whole business aspect of the mission. And then now, again, diplomacy. As you can see, us putting the diplomatic aspect on the front line, because as it relates to government, again, there should be a diplomatic mission, I would expect, from the nations within the Caribbean. And of course, that is the islands and the countries that make up what is known as CARICOM. So officially, I would have expected that a mission will take place led by the foreign minister, etc. Now, I would have highlighted to the family already that there is a specific office known as the ambassador to Ethiopia, which has been carved out in the government of Antigua and Barbuda. No one has the office at the moment. It was previously held by the Honorable King Frankai, His Excellency, and he would have passed on almost 4 years ago. And at that time, interestingly, the head of this nation, that is the Prime Minister, as the Honorable Gaston Brown, would have highlighted that his intention is to make another member of the Rastafari community the ambassador to the nation of Ethiopia. Now, that decision has not officially been made known as yet. It's a cabinet decision that has to be made. That's almost 4 years now, but the decision has not officially been made. You may say, so what's going on behind the scenes? Well, I wouldn't go into the behind the scenes. I would just say that that decision has not officially been made as yet. But again, I myself would have asked for some level of official representation. I'm not speaking of the ambassadorship. In fact, I would have put in my resume as it relates to that position, but that's not what I'm speaking of, family. I'm speaking of, again, government to government. So when I appear, you understand that I am here. Now you may be saying, well, you have the Rastafari government. Of course, I am going as a representative of the Rastafari government. I am not necessarily sent by the upper echelons of the EABIC, but I understand my duties given to me directly from the Honorable King Emmanuel Charles Edwards. So I'm definitely okay. I'm just sharing with the royal family what my intentions are. Listen to this manifesto. The Priest Isaac's Institute of Holistic Knowledge has created a manifesto. This manifesto brings to the surface the vision and potential targets of the Institute. For more information and details, contact us via email at priestisaacinstitute@gmail.com. And that is for the manifesto. Official presentations. The Priest Isaac Institute of Holistic Knowledge will be hosting several lectures and film screenings in Ethiopia. Our lectures and films are directly connected to Ethiopia's history and the cultural heritage that they are the keepers of. And then I have a list of dates and a list of events and even venues. You just saw for yourself the Grand Palace. Of course, you would have seen even the document I just showed to you a moment ago, which is the certificate. I would have sent that information to some key people, and it is the people from the Grand Palace. They actually responded to us. It was specifically Empress Naya they responded to, congratulating me for accomplishing the course and completing it with 100% pass mark, the course that I just showed you, the certificate from the University of London in diplomacy. Very good. So even what we're doing here, family, this may be a bit out of the whack, and yes, we're still going to go into the Pope stuff. Don't worry. I hope you have time. All right. Yeah. But you see, again, this is serious. This is where we as a people need to understand the next level. So this is a next level move that we're making, not just business wise, but diplomatic wise, opening the door wise, so that the brothers and sisters can come in wise. But again, you see, family, I must say, amongst I and I, somehow we don't like, to set a proper agenda. It's as if we are afraid of real diplomacy. I've tried the diplomacy amongst us, and it's wanting big time. You understand? So this is why you open the doors with discipline. Let me continue to read this. Documentaries and magazines. We of the Priest Isaac's Institute of Holistic Knowledge will be launching 2 of our recent documentary films in the UK, Washington, D.C., and Ethiopia. And Ghana also added to that. And these 2 documentary films, the films are as follows. Apedimek, The Conquering Lion Hath Prevailed. This documentary highlights the victory of Ethiopia over Italy at the Battle of Adwa in 1941. Anu, the ancient city. This documentary was selected as a finalist in 2 international film festivals. It highlights the spiritual value of the Caribbean island of Antigua while focusing on Green Castle Hill, the Stonehenge of the Caribbean. We will be launching both of our online magazines, Kidemi and the Ambassador's Pen. Advertise with us for maximum international exposure of your business. You understand? So what we have here now, we have the Institute's team, the head of missions, the administrative director and events manager, the chief assistant to the head of missions, second chief assistant to the head of missions, assistant to the administrative director. So I'm just showing you now the minimum makeup as it relates to the team that is needed for the level of works that needs to be accomplished here as it relates to this mission to Ethiopia. And this is why this is a fundraiser. This is why this is an event. This is not just a visit. This is not a vacation. No, this is a mission. This is something that is supposed to, at the end of the day, benefit your people. And this is why it's all about Freedom, Redemption, International Repatriation. So we highlight also here in the magazine, of course, advertising with the ambassador's pen, and of course, advertising with the magazine Kidemi. You can see the rates here as well. Now, anyone who desires to literally go through this proposal that I am reading for you, I'm not going to read everything. You can contact me so you could get a copy of the proposal itself. You know how to contact me, priestisaacinstitute@gmail.com, and you can take your time and read through the proposal. I'm just somewhat starting you off, getting you prepared. And for those who will never email me to get a copy of anything, at least giving them an idea of what's going on behind the scenes and on the stage. So again, you can advertise in the magazine Kidemi, which will be coming out in June, the next edition. The Ambassador's Pen, which will be officially launched on the 7th of May. That's in a few strongs from now. Now is the time to advertise with the Ambassador's Pen Royal Family. So again, when you advertise with these magazines, especially when you take an annual subscription or even a 6-month subscription, and you are constantly with us, Ambassador's Pen and Kidemi, and we now have these webinars with the different universities, and we now have these lectures with the different business organizations, and again, resorts and business owners. Of course, your businesses will be highlighted when we're in Ghana. I don't know what business you have, but it may be worthwhile in Ghana. You know, your business will be highlighted when we're in the UK. You may have an Airbnb, you may have a restaurant. I don't know. Your business will be highlighted when we are in Washington. And of course, your business will be highlighted when we are in Ethiopia. We have here, just quickly giving you an idea of what we intend to fulfill. Research and fact-finding study. The Priest Isaac's Institute of Holistic Knowledge will also be engaged in research and fact-finding excursions. Here are some of the sites we will be visiting: Axum, Lalibela, Gondar, Entoto Park, Maskell Square, the Defense Force Headquarters, Addis Ababa University, Space and Science Museum, and much more. Family, like the video. Thumbs up the video. Share the video, family. Let other people know what you're watching. Share it now. We're going to be here for a little while. Share it. And those who are just coming in, it's good to start it from the beginning. You don't have to start it over now. Wait until it's done and then watch it again. But you would have missed a lot if you're just coming in. Good. Now, our fundraising budget is like this. We of the Priest Isaac's Institute of Holistic Knowledge will be hosting a series of fundraisers to support our extended stay, activities, research, and historical documentation with a budget of minimally 118,000 United States dollars. That's the minimum, 118,000 United States dollars. And this will include, I'm not going to go through all the figures, but you have flights, and then of course you have lecture halls and the rental of conference centers. You hear me chuckle just a bit because it's a lot of work just to even get this information. I know what we would have gone through. Myself, the team, the Honorable Empress and I are fully on the battlefield. You know what a mighty goddess there who would have made such mighty contacts with all of these different organizations. I'm talking of Empress Naya Aimani, you know, touching base with the Ethiopian. As I said, she was the one who contacted them and informed them of our achievement. And they contacted her, that's the Grand Palace, contacting the Ottawa Victory Memorial. She has a direct contact with the executives of the Ethiopian airline. And so it's a lot of work we're doing on that, if you want to say, you know, logistic level family, because we're on the battlefield. This is war. We just don't come together. We just don't work as a team. Every person, everybody just doing their own little thing. You know, or you and your family doing your own little thing. But for us to come to, even though we come together sometimes, it's just to clap and sing and to play domino, you know, or to burn chalice. But to come together and seriously structure, not just a little business, structure our lives like how other people come together and structure their lives, especially when their backs are against the wall and they come and they visit your little place. You all see it, whether you're in Africa or whether you're in the Caribbean. I've seen it, you know. A heap of Koreans or Chinese come together, 10 of them renting one house, 10 of them, you know, sleeping on sponge and driving one vehicle. They all pack up in it and making money, have their little restaurant, not spending it on anything. They're building and building until they have this big mansion, and they're still together too in the mansion, but they all have their room now and they all have a vehicle now. They didn't build their own house, you know, not unless their own house is in this big land that is surrounded by, you know, a gated community, really. They stick together. That's the point I'm making. We can't even get together properly yet to even say we're sticking together. But anyway, I think I don't know, I've gone somewhere else. So what I was just highlighting, you know, the budget, not adding it up for you. You can get the document, do your own adding, and you may have something to add in the sense of what's the right term here? Advice, you know, because everything is not necessarily set in stone, you know. You set a plan. It's just good to have a plan, but you know how it goes with plans. Plans change. As the Muslims would say, man plans, but Allah is the greatest of the planners. So it's quite okay, but you should have a plan. All right. Because if you have no plan, you plan to fail. Very good. So anyway, lecture halls, conference centers, we have a media budget, which is television, radio, interviews, and programs. We intend to set up programs. We've already started these connections too. So even between now and leaving, you know, it's already a lot of work connecting with the entities that we intend to work along with. So we have already begun that process, obviously, and there's still a lot more work to do. We intend to have a 6-day national tour, very important, 6-day national tour and a 2-day tour of the capital. And then we have the costs and detail in this document. of course, furnished apartment as well. And then we have information here as it relates to diplomatic relationships between the the uh, the the uh, the government to government and business to business, and this is what we intend to do. The Priest Isaacs Institute of Holistic Knowledge will be presenting diplomatic letters to government officials and offices as they relate to the Institute's agenda and program. We also intend to deliver to the said entities letters of diplomacy from their counterparts or their equivalents in the nation of Antigua and Barbuda. Individuals and agencies that will receive these letters are President of Ethiopia, Prime Minister of Ethiopia, Foreign Minister, President of Ethiopian Airlines, Minister of Education, Minister of Tourism, Dean of the University of Addis Ababa, Head of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, all media channels and communications. Again, all right, and it goes into basically the fundraiser methodology. We of the Priest Isaacs Institute of Holistic Knowledge created a series of events and methodology to raise and secure fundraising in the amount of 118,000 United States dollars. We invite you to support us during this festive experience of the African Union and CARICOM Summit by charitably giving to our program's needs. Your financial contribution and presence will help us to make a significant impact in the international affairs between the African continent and the diaspora. And you can see here Pan-African Tourism Exchange, education initiatives, Bobo Shanti, and Rastafari Initiative. Now you see, family, this is heavy, eh? I just want you to tiger with me, please, because we need to understand this. So again, although you hear us speaking of sponsorship and fundraising, this is not a package designed for like donation and contribution as such. So that's not really what it is. It is actually giving back to the individual that will be assisting this move value for their input, value for their contribution, value for their dollar. So, for example, let's say a company gives us full sponsorship. They will have a spreadsheet in every edition of both magazines for 2025, the remainder of it, and 2026. We will sponsor the paraphernalia of their business, and it will be at every event. Cups, pens, bags, etc. Business cards and brochures available at every event. A 6-foot standing poster promoting their business. This is at every lecture we do, interview, seminar, and digital catalog magazine for their business. All right. Then you have a platinum sponsorship, which is between $76,000 to $100,000. Full page in every edition of both magazines, again, for 2025 and 2026. Paraphernalia of business at every event. Business cards and brochure available at every event. Digital catalog or a magazine for the business, so they don't have the 6-foot poster. Then you have this diamond sponsorship, $51,000 to $75,000, half a page in every edition of both magazines for 2025 and 2026. Business cards and brochures available at every event. Digital catalog, a magazine for your business. If you make a contribution in this fundraising event. This isn't what you call that stuff, GoFundMe and all of that. Well, you should set up a GoFundMe account. Why? Why I need to do that? So for you to give me $1,000, I got to go back home and set up a GoFundMe account and then call you and say, hey, it's up. And then you put it in the account. I'm right here. Just give me the money, now, man. What GoFundMe? These killers find all sorts of ways to rob us and just hip us up, get us hip to their foolishness. Oh, yes, that's a good idea. You know what you need to do? You need to start a GoFund account. Why? For what? I don't need no GoFund account. Family, I have PayPal, right? You understand? I have PayPal. I have Cash App. Western Union and MoneyGram can work. I wonder if you follow what I'm saying. So the GoFundMe stuff is not necessary. If you want to put it up as a part of the agenda, it's all right. We're not going to lose any sleep, you know. We've tried that before. But I'm just trying to show you that we make a lot of excuses and make the wicked find all sorts of ways to slow up our mission. So goal sponsorship. Brothers, sisters, if you are sponsoring between $26,000, so if you are sponsoring $26,000 towards this mission here, you get a half of a page in every edition of Kidemi for the rest of 2025 and 2026. You understand? Business cards and brochures available at every event. Business catalog, which is magazine. So we create a magazine, you know. You will get a magazine. So if you have a car rental business, if you have a resort, if you have whatever business you run, and you make this level of contribution, you are going to get a magazine of your own. You see, we flipping magazines in front of you. We'll make one for you. The point is, at the end of the day, when you sit down and add everything together, you know, what you are getting is really worth the contribution that you are making. The magazine, being in our magazine, and then at the same time, not just being in our magazines and just being where it is, but we literally putting energy into your business when we are internationally or national or wherever we are doing what we are doing, you know. There you are with us because of the contribution, but this is specifically for the Ethiopian mission. You understand? But you see, because we practice gratitude, you pay for one thing and it spill over into so many other things. I'm just telling you who I am, eh? Trust me, anybody that knows you, knows me, can tell you that about me. You pay for one thing, you get the thing, you know, but more things will follow. You know? So silver sponsorship. So we have silver sponsorship, which is just $10,000. Well, to me, all of the figures were just too, but $10,000 to $25,000. That's the silver sponsorship. So with the silver sponsorship now, you get business cards, brochures, and we make these available. We make the cards, we print them, we have that. You don't have to worry. We do all of that. That still comes out of your 10,000, obviously. And we make that available when we lecture. We give it out. We speak of your business. You know, we're on the television. We have our own radio program because we are even in the process of putting that together for the moment that we will be in Ethiopia, our own radio program. You will get all the links. More than likely, we'll be on Ethiopian Broadcasting Corporation English, but we're still working on it. Maybe I shouldn't have even said that as yet, but you know, we'll let you know when the time comes. So this is a big marketing opportunity for many people, for those who are serious about business. And I'm just showing you, at least as far as the sponsorship part of it, you can see the value that a person will be getting back that when they sponsor. So if I get a full sponsorship, which is $120,000 dollars, which is really 118,000 full sponsorship. So you have a business. Say you sell cars and high-end vehicles or whatever you do, and you can sponsor this whole mission. Keep in mind that the mission is not just me. Keep in mind that this is a diplomatic mission as well. And this is why we're highlighting the importance of even showing to our people the need for teamwork. Because although it's 5 people in the mission could be 7, the mission could be 9, because we're going to make an impact, especially as conscious people, you know. So it's not even limited to a specific group as such, you know. That's why we're moving as the Priest Isaac's Institute of Holistic Knowledge. We're going to make an impact. We're going to make connection. Ethiopia is dealing with coffee and other good things, you know. We have our brother in Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Chore, that's really how it's pronounced, who is doing marvelous works. In fact, it is Ibrahim Chore who we will be highlighting in our upcoming edition of the Ambassador's Pen. So make sure, family, that you subscribe to the Ambassador's Pen. You understand? So again, as I said, even if you don't take any of the sponsorship, you can just advertise in the magazine. Simple as that. You don't have to take any of the sponsorship. You just advertise in the magazine. That would assist us even in the mission. You understand? So there's a lot more for me to get into, and this is not the last you're going to hear of this. Please, you gotta, I'm going to ask you in advance to forgive me for that, because we need to bring to you, this is obviously something that is well in depth. We already have some tentative business meetings and interviews, radio interviews, and their dates, everything. We have it set in the agenda here. Our proposal, again, for those of you who are serious, who would really like to see this level, this taken to another level, please contact us. You can get a copy of this proposal and go through it yourself. Now, we also have a 7-day tour of Ethiopia already organized, and a 2-day tour or 3-day tour of Addis Ababa. Again, the Honorable Empress Naya would have really been the guru in the organization of this. And again, this is not no one-time thing that I'm talking here. And I know in the near future, she herself will come and explain in more detail to you how you can be a part of the tours. I want you to hear me good. So, in other words, we have a package already set for you to visit Ethiopia with us. It's not going to be at the same time as such as if we fly together. As you could see, if you really took the time to go through this with me, we will be there for an extended period, relatively speaking. Yes. But within that time frame, the African Union Summit, we have a package available for the African Union CARICOM Summit, which will be on the 7th of September. And we have a 2 days and 3-night package. You understand what I'm saying? And then also there is a second tour, which has been organized. And the second tour itself is a 7 to 8 day package, which is more extensive and organized through Ethiopian Airlines, and that specifically will take us throughout Ethiopia itself. So this is a very serious, this is a very serious agenda that we have put together here at the Priest Isaac's Institute of Holistic Knowledge. Family, listen to me. This is not a sponsorship package, you know. This is you saying, well, yeah, I have some money to spend and I want to go to Ethiopia with the priest. I want to go to Ethiopia with the Priest Isaac's Institute of Holistic Knowledge. As I said before, this mission is diplomatic. This mission is a business mission as well. This mission is Rastafari. This mission is repatriation. There's a lot. This is just the first step, at least from my perspective. And again, the business aspect of it is much wider too. We will be highlighting that in the very near future as it relates to the mission in Ghana. That is already well in the process really of putting together for sure, and as well as Washington D.C. and even the mission we have planned for England as well. Again, the Honorable Empress Naya, of course, as you know, as a yoga master, really, we have an event we intend to do that's still in the working in the Entoto Park, yoga in the Entoto Park as well. And as it relates to business, you see our biography here, our bios as such. It really shows, well, according to the paper, the credentials, as you know, the Honorable Empress Naya, with her bachelor's degrees and her master degree as well within English language and, of course, history. So, of course, Africa awaits its creators and creation, as the Honorable Emperor Haile Selassie I would have showed us. So let me make this simple now. You can get a copy of this proposal. I know me going through it, it may look a little complicated. Well, we prepared it so I understand how you feel. It's complicated, or it may appear complicated, but it's precise. It has to appear so because we want to be clear with what we are presenting to you. So you can get a copy of the proposal. If you want to be clear, you could give it to your lawyer so they can go through it. That's what you pay them for. And again, you could decide in what way you want to assist, because I'm sure you want to assist. Either listen to me, family. We're going to talk about the dead Pope in a moment. Don't tell me you're in such a rush to get to the dead Pope that you don't want to hear what I'm saying about the living works that we have to do. I'm showing to you, you can either decide to come with us on the trip to Ethiopia. Well, not trip because we ain't tripping. On the mission to Ethiopia. So you either on the 2-day tour in Addis Ababa, or you are on the 7 to 8-day tour around Ethiopia. And then now, you also have the opportunity of picking one of the sponsorships, which will guarantee you the marketing and promotion that would really balance back your contribution. We'll make sure of that. That's the next choice you have. Or you could advertise in the magazine. You follow me, family? You can advertise in the magazine. Now, these are 3 ways. What I would have just done, I would have explained to you as a brother to a brother and a sister. I would have somewhat explained to you my heart. I would have showed you a document that myself and the Institute would have taken the time to put together, and literally done the works to the point that we have it precise that we can give it to you now, and you can go through it and pick what you want to do to assist the mission. It's a genuine mission, family. I haven't even told you everything, but I've highlighted the main mission: business. As you can see, I haven't hidden, I haven't hide that. I didn't hide that. Is business we dealing with, because business is the activity of life. Marcus Garvey come and teach us business. Even as Bobo Shanti, we rise the red, black, and green. Business before we rise the red, gold, and green. Clap and sing. So business is very important. Diplomacy. I even began by showing you the certificate that we just received from the University of London in global diplomacy. Not that this is what makes us a diplomat, you know. In fact, the reason why we could get 100% on this is because the greatest diplomat of them all, the chief diplomat himself, Haile Selassie the first, would have already taught us, you know, how to conduct ourselves diplomatically. And just knowing his history and autobiography 1 and part 2 and everything else thereof, you know, that's why we aced this stuff. We were ahead of the game, to be very honest, when it comes to global diplomacy. So that is what we will intend to exercise even on this mission. That's why we have the head of missions, which is really an ambassador. And our mission is Rastafari mission. Our mission is the mission of our people in the diaspora. You understand? That's our mission. In general, we highlight also where we reside for obvious reasons, because that's where we are. And that's where our people are as well. And we see that we are not just like the ambassadors from Antigua and Barbuda to Ethiopia. No, man. We are the ambassadors of our people in the Western world to Africa in general. So, family, listen to this now. You may be saying, boy, priest, I ain't got no business, you know. And boy, $118,000, boy. I suppose they get a check next week, maybe. I got listen, hold on. No, hold on. No, I'm serious. Hold on. Family from my heart. You see how long I took to go into this. Family, many of you have been following me for a while now. If it's one thing, you know, we do what we say. You know, there were a few people try to take a few cheap shots at us, but you know the cheap shots. You know that we are people of integrity. You know that. As you can clearly see, our mission is not just to come and talk and talk. Our mission is to do things that would affect people's life. That's what I do. Things that affect people's life. It's just that the talking tends to affect people's life too. So we do that. But we don't want to be overdoing with talking. We need to affect people's life. We have people to meet in Ethiopia. You know, Ethiopia needs peace too. We have the ability to bring peace to Ethiopia, you know. It's Rastafari that is going to save Ethiopia. You better believe it. I can go on and on and on this subject here, you know. But the Pope is waiting, isn't it? Yeah. So what I'm going to do now, because I want everyone to assist me, family, this is the time to help I want everyone to assist me in this. So if you can't be a full sponsor, how many of you can be a full sponsor? I should ask these questions. How many of you can give a full sponsorship? You can put it in the chat and say, yeah, I can give $118,000. I'll be so happy. How many of you can give what you call it, a platinum sponsorship? That's between $76,000 and $100,000. How many of us can give a diamond sponsorship? That's between $51,000 and $75,000. So if you give $51,000, that's a diamond sponsorship. You're getting a half page in the magazine for the whole of this year and next year, plus business cards and brochure giving out to people at the Grand Palace, giving out to delegates at the AU Summit, even wherever we are in the summit, giving out to people when we are in Toto Park, giving lectures, launching video, just because you took the diamond sponsorship package and you paid the $51,000. Plus you get a digital catalog of your rent-a-car business or your restaurant business or whatever you have, or you can do a gold sponsorship. You understand? So yes, family, yes, I'm taking time with this. I take a lot of time with some other things to make sure you leave with the information that you need. So this is the time now for me to take time so you understand what it is I would delight in you to do, to assist the mission going forward. And again, you can use your finance and enjoy yourself and just catch a plane and visit us there. And again, you could advertise with the magazine. Now, before we get back to the late Pope. Oh, yes, pardon me. So who, family, can give a platinum sponsorship? Anyone can give a platinum sponsorship? 76,000 to 100,000. You can put it in the chat if you want. If you don't want to, well, okay, no, I understand if you want to be anonymous. I just want to see. I want to get an idea of who can do such. What about a diamond sponsorship from 51,000 to 75,000? Gold sponsorship, 26,000 to 50,000. Silver sponsorship, $10,000. Hmm? Yeah, we are hardworking people, eh? Because you see this proposal here, family. I will be taking it, and I have already taken the proposal to people that you may call not well-to-do, millionaires. In some cases, I'm still waiting for an answer. People that maybe I would prefer not to go to as such, even though they're business people. But because we, again, cannot come together, $10,000 is just 10 people giving $10,000, Family, I want you to comprehend, I'm not asking for assistance to go to Ethiopia. This mission is already set. It's we going. That's what I'm trying to show you. I'm already on my way. But the level of work that I would like to fulfill for the benefit of us all. I'm not just going to take videos so I can do some documentaries so you can see them, which obviously you expect that to happen too. No, man. Freedom, redemption, international repatriation, things that we have planned, I'm not going to even say here. That's what I'm talking about. And we understand what's going on in the land of Ethiopia. It needs help too. That's what I'm talking about. Many, many things. So we are going. I just want to make that clear. But for the volume of the work that we would want to fulfill for Rastafari, that's why we have that budget. That's why we put that on the table. And that will greatly assist. And again, we have opened the ways. Now, again, I know I spent some time on this, and thank you for your patience. This is very simple. Family, as you know, we do the Tiger's Nest radio program. Now, this is a program that we've been doing for a while, for some time. We started our career in radio, you understand, with a program known as the Mystic Vibration. And the Mystic Vibration radio program would have morphed into the shock of the hour as such, because the shock of the hour is one aspect really of the Mystic Vibration. And then the Mystic Vibration would have become the Tiger's Nest. Now, it's a radio program, and in recent times, we have turned it into an audio program, and of course, a radio program as we reset Radio Anu for you. But listen to this good. We have individuals that receive our program every day. I know many of you listen to me on YouTube, and you maybe get me on Instagram, wherever. And many times I get emails, I get all sorts of things. Hey, longing to see you. And I mean, sometimes you may not see a YouTube program for maybe a week. Longing to see you. When is the latest program? But family, we do programs every single day. The Tiger's Nest. And again, what the Tiger's Nest does, it somewhat keeps me abreast of those who are really supporters. I'm going to say that again. What the Tiger's Nest does, it keeps me abreast of those who are really supporters. The Tiger's Nest is just one of the many things that we offer. You know, we offer all sorts of things. From the books that we've written, documentaries, hikes, experiences, courses. The Tiger's Nest radio program comes to you every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I want you to listen to me, good family. It's audio. When you subscribe for it, we send it to you and you get it in your inbox. Please listen to me. There is a cost to this. It's only $20 per month. We've worked that out already and it came down to like 16 cents per program, something of the sort. And the Tiger's Nest program, we literally set that aside to assist in the work of the Institute. We gave a whole lecture on that. We showed you how a government runs. We told you, let's pretend like when we're children, we pretend we're this. Well, we have to pretend we are a government now, so that when we're really in the position, we understand that an institution, the people that get the benefit from the institution should also assist the institution. And it's not as if we're asking for anything. We give many things without a price, This long conversation I'm having here with you, you didn't have to pay to listen to me talk so long to you. Just been a little funny there. Nah. But it's serious. Let me show you. We're bringing out the ambassador's pen. You don't have to pay for that. The magazine Kidemi. We don't say, well, just $2 per month. No, that's there. These things are there and many other things that we offer that are there. But the Tiger's Nest program now, we just ask at $20 per month. And that specifically itself would be even more economical for you if you take a year's package. I think if you take the year's package, it's $150. You follow that? Okay. So here, what I am going to do, family, I'm going to take a next leap here. Please listen to me good. The Tiger's Nest program can come in two forms. You have the audio and you have the video. I am going to create a line of Tiger's Nest video programs. After 3 months, I will reassess it or assess it from that time after the 3 months. This is what it is. Simply this, family. Once you are subscriber to the Tiger's Nest, you're going to get the audio version, as you always have. Plus, I'm going to give you a YouTube link for the private YouTube version of the Tiger's Nest. So in other words, family, you will get a video every day, but it's going to be a private link. It's yours. If you want to share it, that's up to you. But it's a private link to those who subscribe to the Tiger's Nest. Now, you may be saying, oh, priest, that's not fair, man. You're not supposed to do that with knowledge and information. And no, hold on. Hey, take your time. Nothing is going to change, I'm not taking away anything from you. You just observe. Nothing is going to change. Everything is still going to be the same. What I would have done, I would have created a more delightful package for those who patronize me. Yeah, those who think that I am worthy enough to spend $20 a month on. You see what I'm saying? So I'm going to create a better package for them. So in addition to getting the audio, the talking, you're going to get a video. You press the link and the video with all the slides and everything. So every night you're going to have a video lecture. You better believe it. So you can get your tea or your coffee or your sandwich or your chalice. And every night, you're getting a video Tiger's Nest or an audio Tiger's Nest. And after 3 months, we will assess that and see where we go from there. So those of you now who are really behind us and backing us and saying, yeah, we all with you. I have now added to the Tiger's Nest, and I am encouraging everyone, those who know they have the means and ways, to subscribe to the Tiger's Nest. And again, this will be a part of the fundraising initiative towards the mission to Ethiopia. And that is why I said that after 3 months, we will assess it or reassess it, whatever the term you may want to use, after 3 months. So let me repeat again. I am making a clarion call. I am asking those who say they support the work, the Tiger's Nest. The Tiger's Nest is I mean, that's the executive lounge program there, brother. I'm telling you. And again, every strong, we give at least one of the Tiger's Nest to the YouTube. So you may get a Tiger's Nest and say, wow, can't wait for the next one. 3 more would have gone, and you would have missed those. 3 or more. Sometimes, as you see, we take a 2 weeks off. We throw off 2 weeks. Yeah, the more weeks you throw off, the better. You see it? But Tiger's Nest never stop. So subscribe to the Tiger's Nest. You will assist the mission. You should be happy to do that. You should say, hey, yeah, man, I can give $20 every month and I'm getting the Tiger's Nest. Not only am I getting something to listen to put in my car, I'm getting something I can sit down and watch. Yeah, every night I have the priest there showing me something new. Yeah, man, that's worth it. Plus, that is going to push the mission to Ethiopia, wherein that will benefit all of us in the future. Of course, we are going to depend on the politician. What you want me to do? Run for politics and then come back to you and say, oh, I'm the foreign minister now. And then by that time, I don't have to, Beelzebubs and Baphomet by that. I mean, come on, man, what you want to do? So we need to recognize who we have amongst us. Yeah. I shouldn't have gone to no University of London to get no certificate to prove to nobody that I'm a diplomat. Give thanks for the certificate and give thanks to the University of London, but I shouldn't have to do that to prove that. Because amongst ourselves, you see, that's the thing, we are all over, You go on Facebook and it's the most Jah this and Ras this and priest this and prophet that. What are we doing? What's our move? All we need is 24 hours and we're supposed to be able to shake the earth with all of these devices and all of these social media, and we keep running into each other here, there, and everywhere, and we can't do nothing proper yet to wake up the world. I give thanks for those who are doing works, because I know many of you are doing different things. Children are being fed and schools are being built. I'm not blind to that. You understand? But hey, we need to shake the world. Anyway, I know I would have taken some time on that, and I know some of you, were saying I was maybe talking too long. Well, give thanks. But I was talking for those who appreciated the long talk, because it's business time now, And they're the ones that I'm sure will be subscribing. So family, this is serious, more than ever before. Contact me now, priestisaacInstitute@gmail.com. You know, those of you who are listening, how many of you in the chat? Let me see how many of you, because I'm watching, although this is a premiere, you know, how many of you will be subscribing to the Tiger's Nest tonight? And you're getting an up-to-date, upscale version of the Tiger's Nest for the same price. We're not rising the price, $20 a month, or you can get it for $150 a year. That's the Tiger's Nest. And again, after 3 months, we will evaluate, you know, the program, video Tiger's Nest and audio Tiger's Nest. And I have to take time with this because this is a serious mission that we are on. To Ethiopia, Zion awaits. And Ethiopia is on the move right now. Ethiopia is the fastest growing economy right now. Addis Ababa is the top of the world right now. The most outstanding city in Africa right now. The door is open right now, family. Now mind the little news and wars here and there. Trust me, we can get around that. We are the ones to stop the war right now. All right. Holy Emmanuel, Selassie, Jah, Rastafari. Beautiful. All right. Let's get back to who everybody wants to talk about now. Good. All right. I know we have been here for a while. This has been a lengthy program. And some of you just coming in, hit the thumbs up button, share the program. That's why I was telling you earlier, you could have shared it long time. Not because we're gone an hour in, we'll be here for some time. I said this from the time we started. We're going to be here for a while. All right, so what we're going to do now, we're going to revisit a video, documentary really, that was done some time ago. And the documentary is highlighting, well, the Pope really, the last Pope's business. This is a documentary that was done by Michael Diamond. And we're going to run the audio for you. And let's listen.
One of the most well-known predictions in Catholic history is the prophecy of the popes and anti-popes that is attributed to St. Malachy. St. Malachy was a Catholic bishop born in 1094 in Ireland. He died in the presence of his good friend St. Bernard in 1148. St. Bernard said that St. Malachy foretold the day and hour of his own death. St. Malachy was canonized in 1190, and a reading for his feast day mentions that he was blessed with the gift of prophecy. According to the 1913 Catholic Encyclopedia under the title of Prophecy, it says that St. Malachy was called to Rome in 1139 by Pope Innocent II. While in Rome, it is reported that St. Malachy experienced a vision of future claimants to the papacy till the second coming of Jesus Christ. St. Malachy wrote 112 short Latin phrases describing all these future claimants to the papacy, giving titles to both popes and anti-popes. The document was then reportedly placed in the Vatican's secret archives and wasn't discovered until 1556 by a Vatican librarian. The document was first published 39 years later in 1595 by historian Arnold de Wyon in a book called Tree of Life. De Wyon was assisted in his translation of the document by Alfonso Chacon, a well-known scholar of medieval manuscripts. Chacon was given the job of authenticating the document and making sure it wasn't a forgery. After examining the document, Chacon verified it as authentic. While God apparently showed St. Malachy the different men who in the future would claim to be the leaders of the Catholic Church, he did not necessarily reveal to St. Malachy whether these future claimants to the papacy were good or evil, and he did not reveal to him whether they were true popes or anti-popes. St. Malachy was simply shown the men who until the end of human history would present themselves to the world as the leaders of the Catholic Church. Furthermore, as humanity moved closer and closer to the end of the world, God wanted people in the last days to have some idea how close they were to the second coming of Christ. St. Malachy's descriptions of future claimants to the papacy usually include at least one or more of the following things concerning the claimant: his coat of arms, his family's coat of arms, his birth name or birthplace, or cities in which he would live during his life. St. Malachi also described major figures or events that would overshadow the reigns of some of the claimants to the papacy. As mentioned earlier, the prophecies of St. Malachi were published for the first time in 1595. There is a controversy over St. Malachi's pre-1595 predictions. Many believe that since St. Malachi's list was only publicly available for the first time in 1595, the predictions referring to pre-1595 claimants constitute no proof of authenticity. Moreover, some believe that since St. Malachi's prophecy wasn't publicly released until hundreds of years after it was reportedly first made, doubt exists about the entire prophecy. However, a good response to that objection can be found by considering a very important biblical manuscript called Codex Vaticanus. Codex Vaticanus is considered to be the oldest surviving copy of an almost complete Bible. It was originally produced in the late 4th century, but its whereabouts were uncertain for more than 1,000 years, until it was identified in the Vatican Library in the 15th century. So Codex Vaticanus, like St. Malachi's document, was discovered at the Vatican after being lost for an extremely long period of time. Yet biblical scholars generally accept Codex Vaticanus as authentic, despite its uncertain whereabouts for more than 1,000 years after its original production. A far longer period of time than St. Malachi's document was lost. Nevertheless, since there is controversy over the St. Malachi prophecies before 1595, we will not consider any examples of his predictions that concern papal claimants before 1595, but only those after 1595. St. Malachi describes Pope Innocent X as, quote, joyfulness of the cross. It is very interesting that Innocent X was finally elected Pope on the feast day of the Exaltation of the Cross, after a long and difficult conclave. St. Malachi describes Pope Pius VI as, quote, apostolic wanderer. During Pius VI's reign, he traveled to Germany to confer with Emperor Joseph II. In the last 2 years of his reign, he was forced by revolutionaries to flee Rome. After a very difficult journey over the Alps, he died in France. He was definitely a wanderer.
Okay, hold on. You understand what he's trying to say? So he's saying that Pope was considered to be a wanderer by the prophecy of Malachi. So this is the prophecy of Saint Malachi. I hope you're following along. I'm not going to stay forever on it. I think many of you have an idea of it, but then you can do your own research at the same time. I mean, the Pope done dead and gone, really, we have a lot of living things we need to discuss, but anyway. So this is the prophecy of Malachi, and he's highlighting that this Pope was a wanderer, and according to, I guess, the life that he lived, this would have shown as a perfect example of the prophecy that was given of him. And basically, that is the stamp of the prophecy of Malachi. He highlights the popes that he's speaking of with a specific, like the greedy eagle, the dog and the serpent, a religious man. These are the terminologies that he gives to these popes. And then history shows the popes to be what he says they will be. That's basically it. Something almost like a Nostradamus. Sometimes I believe people play themselves into these prophecies to make the other fella look good. But again, as I said, I'm not here preaching no doctrine, and this is not my theology. I'm not here trying to show, yes, you see, I tell you, he's the last pope and no more coming. No. I'm just here assisting you to think in this world of information and putting things on the table. You understand? And I know you will be able to pick sense from nonsense. But again, interesting conversation.
St. Malachi describes Pope Pius VII as, quote, greedy eagle. This pope's reign was overshadowed by Napoleon, whose symbol was an eagle. Napoleon's complete reign as emperor took place during Pius VII's reign as pope. Napoleon and Pius VII were continually in conflict, Napoleon ordering that the Pope comply with his demands. After Pius VII excommunicated Napoleon, he was kidnapped and imprisoned by Napoleon's officers. Eventually, Napoleon formed an agreement with Pius VII that weighed heavily in his own favor. St. Malachy describes Pope Pius IX as, quote, cross from the cross. Pius IX was the last pope to govern the Papal States. He ended up a prisoner in the Vatican after the House of Savoy, whose coat of arms is a white cross, reunited Italy and removed Pius IX from his control of the Papal States. St. Malachy describes Pope Leo XIII as, quote, light in the sky. Pope Leo XIII's coat of arms features a comet in the sky. Bishops of the Catholic Church create a coat of arms. Pope Leo XIII was made a bishop on February 19, 1843. That means that Leo XIII created his coat of arms, which featured a comet in the sky, 35 years before he became pope in 1878. He was thus identified with a light in the sky, long before he became pope or knew that he would become pope. St. Malachy describes Pope Pius X as, quote, fire burning. Pius X's reign saw the Russian-Japanese War, the Mexican Revolution, and the First and Second Balkan Wars. It was also at the end of his reign that World War I began, which set Europe on fire. St. Malachy describes Benedict XV as, quote, religion laid waste. Benedict XV reigned during World War I and the Communist Revolution in Russia, which led to millions of Catholics being put to death. On page 328 of his 1996 book Memoirs, Mikhail Gorbachev said that the Soviet communist state laid waste to religion by carrying out, quote, a wholesale war on religion, end quote. St. Malachy describes anti-pope John XXIII as, quote, pastor and sailor. During his reign, John XXIII would frequently wear clothing featuring a large sailboat. St. Malachy describes anti-pope Paul VI as, quote, flower of flowers. Interestingly, Paul VI happened to have 3 lily flowers on his coat of arms. St. Malachy describes anti-pope John Paul I as, quote, from the half moon. John Paul I began his reign on August 26, 1978, when the moon appeared exactly half full, so he literally began his reign from the half moon. John Paul I also comes from the Diocese of Belluno, which means, quote, beautiful moon. St. Malachy describes anti-pope John Paul II as, quote, of the solar eclipse. John Paul II was born on May 18, 1920, the day of a solar eclipse. On the day of John Paul II's funeral, April 8, 2005, there was also an eclipse of the sun. This is a striking fulfillment of St. Malachy's prophecy. On September 19, 1846, the Blessed Virgin Mary appeared to 2 little children at La Salette, France, and predicted that, quote, Rome will lose the faith and become the seat of the Antichrist. The Church will be in eclipse. Our Lady predicted that outside a remnant of Catholics who will preserve the true faith, most people will not see or find real Catholicism because, for one reason, the Church will seem to be dominated, blocked out, or eclipsed by something. That something was John Paul II. He was the eclipse of the Catholic Church. The predictions made by Our Lady at La Salette and Fatima concerning what would happen to the Catholic Church are covered in detail in our video, The Third Secret of Fatima. According to St. Malachy, the final claimant to the papacy in the history of mankind is described as Petrus Romanus, Peter the Roman. St. Malachy says about the last claimant that, quote, in the final persecution of the Holy Roman Church, there will sit Peter the Roman, who will feed the sheep in many tribulations. And when these things are finished, the city of 7 hills, Rome, will be destroyed, and the dreadful judge will judge his people. The end, end quote. If St. Malachy's prophecy is correct, Antipope Francis will be the last person in history who will claim to be the Bishop of Rome. Keep in mind that St. Malachy predicted both popes and antipopes, whoever would claim to be the Bishop of Rome. The reason St. Malachy called him Peter the Roman is because St. Peter, as Bishop of Rome and the first pope, had the name Peter, and St. Malachy calls the last man who will claim to be the Bishop of Rome by the same name, Peter. And since Francis, according to St. Malachy's list, is the final claimant to the Roman See before the destruction of Rome, he calls him Peter the Roman. Another reason St. Malachy called Francis the Roman is that Francis has emphasized the title Bishop of Rome in a unique way. Antipope Francis has generally avoided the title of Pope and other titles associated with claimants to the papacy. The official Vatican directory lists a number of different titles for claimants to the papacy. But Francis has rejected all these titles except the one title of Bishop of Rome, which he specifically requested. Francis has stressed in a highly unusual way that he is merely acting as if his authority is limited locally to Rome. In fact, in his very first words after his quote election, Francis explicitly stated that the reason for a conclave was, quote, to give a bishop to Rome. Francis is perhaps the only claimant in history who mentioned the title, quote, Bishop of Rome, in his very first words to the world after his, quote, election. He was therefore immediately identified with Rome or in a particular way as a Roman. Quote, it was striking that in his initial appearances he repeatedly referred to himself as the Bishop of Rome, rather than emphasizing his role as an authority figure in the universal church. Also, Francis was the first claimant in history to sign his name in Italian rather than Latin in the Vatican's official directory. Italian is the language of modern Romans, which Francis happens to speak perfectly, whereas Latin is the language of the church throughout the world. This is another example of Francis's emphasis on a particular local or Roman role, instead of a universal one. Interestingly, Francis chose the name of the most well-known saint of Italy, Saint Francis of Assisi. Assisi is only 2 hours from Rome. During his life, Saint Francis went to Rome, and Saint Francis's middle name and his father's name happens to be Peter. Saint Malachi also says that Peter the Roman will feed people during many tribulations. It is very interesting that while Anti-Pope Francis doesn't care if someone rejects Jesus Christ or the Catholic faith, he does claim to care about physically feeding people in need. On page 129 of his 2010 book, Conversations with Jorge Bergoglio, Francis says the only sin being committed in Argentina is failing to provide food and work for people. He says nothing about sins against God and God's faith. Conversations with Jorge Bergoglio, page 129, quote, it is a problem of sin. For 4 years, Argentina has been living a sinful existence because it has not taken responsibility for those who have no food or work. If tribulations occurred in the world in which people were without food or other necessities, Francis would probably go to extremes to feed those people, and would therefore fulfill what St. Malachi says, he will feed the sheep in many tribulations. Non-Catholics who believe in St. Malachi's prophecies yet reject the Roman Catholic Church should deeply consider what St. Malachi says. He refers to the Roman Church, which everyone admits is the Roman Catholic Church, and he calls it, quote, holy. If the Roman Catholic Church were a false church, there would be no way that St. Malachi would describe it as, quote, holy. And only God could have given St. Malachi the ability.
All right, let me give that a little break there. I think you got the point there. Of course, he's going into some other stuff and the holy and the holy and the holy. So basically, all right, fair enough. So many ones have been speaking about this prophecy here, even before Mr. Pope died this morning, really. This is something that would have been pounced about, really, like for the last month, since he was sick, ones would have really ramped up and began to push out documentaries directly speaking of this last Pope. What you heard a moment ago, that was from like about 11 years ago. You understand? And again, even before he became the Pope, one was speaking of this prophecy. So, according to even the Bible, that speaks about the kings and the king that was not, and the king that was like the first king and all of that stuff. I'm not going to go into that now. But depending on how you read that, how you interpret that, one's consider that no other pope is coming after him. I'm not saying that at all. That's what ones are saying. And the real pope is coming next, and some strange things. You see John Paul II, please don't underrate him. I know we like to talk about the real pope and this pope coming. You see Ronald Reagan, don't underestimate those people there. Them is like the climax of this devil show. I'm telling you, when it comes to the dragon and the beast that Revelation speak about, you know. But anyway, family, believe me, I'm not going to spend too much time on all of that, you know. Yeah, I'm just reminding you now. Email me, Keep it in mind that we have a mission that we are on. You're going to let me know if you are advertising with the ambassador's pen or with the magazine Kidemi, understanding the mission that we are on. You're going to let me know if you are going to be a full sponsorship for the mission to Ethiopia, or you're going to be a platinum sponsor, or a diamond sponsor, gold, silver. You're going to let me know. Or if you're coming to Ethiopia with us. So it's a lot, family. You know, that's why I took some time to express it, because it's a lot. You can just email me and get the document that you're looking at so you can go through it properly. You understand as well. And again, the GoFundMe, remember we have PayPal, we have Cash App, we have Zelle, we have them other stuff that they have. Western Union and MoneyGram, all of that is available. So it's nothing hard. Family, give thanks for your presence. I will see you all tomorrow, right? For the Tiger's Nest. Yeah, it won't be on YouTube, and if it's on YouTube, it's going to be a private link. But again, I'm looking forward to seeing all of you for the Tiger's Nest. Family, if you know your Bible and you do not know your history, the knowledge of your Bible will become a mystery. And of course, you know, it takes some realize to realize the real lies that are amongst us. If thanks, family, life giver, and the keeper of life, all praises, Holy Emmanuel, Selassie, Jah Rastafari. Blessed love.